Hey, what's going on, guys? Minuteman Preparedness here. So, today I'm going to talk about a topic a lot of people may not even think of it as a preparedness or survival, prepping type of topic. But I think it is because it deals with security, and that being the security of your vehicle and the contents inside of it. And it's not going to be the typical thing you would think of, as in actually having items in your vehicle locked up, which you also need to do, but it's going to be the vehicle VIN and key fob security. So, first, we'll talk about the VIN. And we know the VIN is on your registration card, which is typically in the glove box or center console of your vehicle. And then it is also on a label within typically the driver's side door jamb, sometimes under the hood or on the frame, but always the front driver's side windshield, that little square cutout. So a lot of people don't think about the actual significance of their VIN number. So we're going to talk about a couple of things here. So one, utilizing the VIN number, criminals can duplicate keys, make false insurance claims, and also gather information on a vehicle before they steal it. So, and this type of stuff does happen. I'm going to reference some news articles and some online sources here where I was gathering this information. So, utilizing the VIN number, a locksmith or somebody that has the knowledge and the tools to do this, they can actually get from the VIN number a key code, a cut pattern for the keys. And with that key, they can unlock your vehicle. But a lot of modern vehicles now utilize a transponder chip inside of them to actually cut the vehicle on to start the engine. So they can make a key from your VIN to get into your vehicle, but newer models, they won't be able to cut the vehicle on. But if they have the tools and the knowledge, and as long as the vehicle is there, they can actually code a blank transponder chip to your vehicle, just like a locksmith would do. And then they'll be able to start the engine of your vehicle. If it's an older vehicle that doesn't utilize the transponder chip within the key itself, typically at the top, like where the little key ring is, if they can cut that key, then they can crank your vehicle. Also, with the VIN and insurance fraud, is something called VIN cloning. So what criminals will do is they'll get your VIN and then they'll make another VIN plate, and they will steal a vehicle that's typically the same year, make, and model, and they'll replace the old VIN with a new VIN plate that they've used your VIN for, and then they will utilize that vehicle and then sell it. So where the issue comes into play, and this actually happened to a gentleman, is he had his vehicle, he went to sell it. Well, when the dealership ran the VIN and the Carfax and all that, it popped up that he had been involved in 4 collisions with that vehicle. So his offer was lower. Well, when they told him that, they advised him that his vehicle had been in 4 collisions in another state. He told him, well, that didn't happen. Well, what had happened is somebody had cloned his VIN, utilized his VIN, made a new VIN plate, and placed it inside of another vehicle, and then used that vehicle and then sold that vehicle. So that creates a lot of frustration and headache for the actual owner of the vehicle with the actual VIN and not that cloned VIN. So then we'll slide down to key fobs, and most people have them now. A lot of the vehicles like the Dodges and maybe Kia and stuff like that, Jeeps, you don't actually have to use the key to start the vehicle. You just get inside there. That transponder chip lets the vehicle know that the key's within that certain distance, and you can just push the button and start the vehicle. So what criminals have been doing is there's several different devices they can use, and a lot of times they'll do this at nighttime whenever you're at home and asleep and the vehicle's there, is they'll come up and they have several different devices, and it'll pick up that radio frequency from that chip, and then they can either amplify that signal from where the first individual is by your front door to another individual by your vehicle with that same type of device, and the vehicle thinks that the key is present, or they can pick up that frequency and then move it over to the vehicle. There's several different devices that they use, and so that's you're going to end up having your stuff broken into, and with that, they can, with that information, the key fob information, they can open your vehicle, possibly crank your vehicle and drive off with it. So I'm gonna throw up a video real quick from CBS Atlanta. I'm sorry, CBS Austin, and let you take a look at it real quick, and we'll come back.
Shows how it works. 2 crooks are needed to pull it off. One goes to the front door, where a lot of people store their keys. A receiver is used to capture the low-frequency radio signal the key fob transmits. That signal is then amplified and relayed to the device that's being held close to the car door. The car is tricked into thinking the key fob is next to the door, so the car can be opened, started, and driven away.
All right, so we saw those 2 individuals, of course, at nighttime, vehicles in the driveway. One went up to the door, because a lot of people will hang their keys by the door, which I do not advocate at all. And they were able to grab that signal and spoof it and get in the vehicle and drive away. So there's a plethora of methods of protecting your key fob, and one of them that a lot of people use, and I'm throw this picture up, is from a company called Silent, and it is a little key fob pouch. It's a RFID signal blocking pouch, kind of like a Faraday pouch. You put your key fob in it, and it contains that signal just inside the bag, so it doesn't escape. I'm gonna throw that up real quick for you and let you see it. All right, so there's a handful of these different products out there. They've got pouches. You can use the Faraday bag pouches, like the Mylar looking pouches. They make like decorative boxes to put on your nightstand and all these different types of things. If you really want to do this, but you don't have the money or don't want to spend the money on it, you can simply just make a aluminum foil pouch. Get you some thick aluminum foil, folded over, crimp the edges, make a little pouch with a little lid on it, and you can put your key fob in there and fold it over a time or two. That'll also block the signal. You can get a small box, cover it in aluminum foil, and as long as the seams around it are good and tight and you have metal contact all the way around and there's no holes or gaps in it, it'll do the same thing. It's just not going to look as nice. But they do, like I said, make a wooden style box that's more decorative for something like that. So, keep this video short, but I wanted it to be something for you to think about, since we talked about vehicles the other day. One thing I would do is cut you a small piece of black cardboard, thin cardboard, or like the construction paper, and slide it down in your windshield, between the windshield and the dash there where your VIN is. That way your VIN is covered up, so if somebody's walking past your vehicle, they can't see the VIN. Of course, there's other places where the VIN is, you can obtain it, but the vehicle will have to be unlocked typically for you to be able to do that. So always make sure your vehicle is locked, but slide that piece of paper in there, or cardboard, that way they can't see your VIN number. And if you do anything with your key fob, if you don't want to put it in a Faraday pouch or make a little box or anything for it, at least put it, in your bedroom, away from a window where someone can't walk up to your window at night and try to grab that signal. Just a couple things to think about. But with that, you all stay safe. Have a great day, and Minuteman out.